Welcome everyone to BX Sports Yard Network MMA Weekly. Austin Shept in. I am one host, one half of the co-host with MMA Weekly, Austin. As I butchered that for some reason, but it is what it is. We're gonna roll with the punches. Anyway, I just wanted to decide to do a video because I haven't done a video in a while, unfortunately, due to circumstances, and apologies there. But a lot's happened in the last like 2 weeks with big fights announcements for these upcoming pay-per-views in March and April. And I feel like it's important that we talk about it. So I want to do a video just talking about all the fights that got announced for these cards, just briefly. Hopefully I can keep this like 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. Try to make it 30 minutes. If I go a little bit longer, my apologies. But I just want to talk about it because a lot of these fights just got made. I'm excited for them. I'm going to go chronological order. I'm going to go from UFC 285, 286, 287. Just make it easy for me. So, yeah, let's get started. Let's start with UFC 285 and the main event of UFC 285, which is going to be for the vacant heavyweight title between Zero Gone and John Jones for the heavyweight titles. John Jones finally makes his heavyweight debut, returns after not fighting for about almost over 3 years now, actually. As you can see, it was announced that TM on T-Mobile fucked up. Excuse my language. And put the on the screen before the UFC announcement. This was like the day of the Strickland and Nazadine Imanov fight. Right after the fight, the press conference, Dan White just announced the fight was made because the cat was already out the bag. So sorry for my nose. I got a little sniffles. My apologies there. But yeah, I'm excited for this fight. I mean, John Jones is back, finally going for that heavyweight title. We've been waiting for him to get that go up to heavyweight to fight for the title. We thought it was gonna be Ngannou, but we know Ngannou and Jones, not Jones, Ngannou and UFC could reach out the differences. So Ngannou's a free agent, and personally, I think both sides are to blame. I can understand both sides in terms of that, but that's another separate issue. And with this fight, man, this is an exciting fight. I mean, John Jones can make history by becoming heavyweight champ. It's Zero God. I mean, you may argue he should be the heavyweight champ considering how that Francis fight went, particularly in the fifth round, which was really a controversial round. If you watch that fight, that Francis Zero God heavyweight title fight last January, and personally, you can make an argument Zero God is the champ. Part of me thinks that, but cut out Zero Gun did more to win that fifth round, not taking back. But yeah, this is for the heavyweight title, exciting fight. If you be honest with you, I know how people are thinking John should be the favorite because if Francis Ngannou can take you down with bad leg, what's John Jones gonna do with the wrestling background? But my thing is, I think it's a harder fight for John Jones because unlike Francis Ngannou, Zero Gun's just like gonna stand there and just stay stationary for John to just pick apart with the oblique kick and just get an easy takedown and pick with shots. Zero God's gonna be, if you know Zero God, he likes to move around, touch, move around, angles, stuff, touch, not get hit, sort of. He use angles to create, to get out of the way and also hit guys. And I think it's gonna give John problems because the one thing about John Jones is, especially his recent fights, he's been getting hit a lot. Thiago Santos fight, the Dominic Reyes fight, at times against Smith, he got hit. At times against Smith, he got hit in that fight. We fought Anthony Smith back in March of 2019. I was trying to do the pay-per-view name, but the pay-per-view number, but like, nah, don't even. Just. I remember it was March 2019. But yeah, I mean, he's been getting hit a lot lately, and I know John's got the wrestling advantage. But the problem is, you can't take someone down if you can't grab a hold of them. I don't know if he's gonna get able to grab a hold of Zero Gone, especially if Zero God's moving, touching him, hitting him, and get out the way angles. It's gonna frustrate John, and by himself open to get hit with a counter shot can really hurt him. I know Zero God doesn't have the power of Ngannou or a lot, doesn't have your typical one punch knockout heavyweight power, but Zero God can't finish you. If you get hit too much by Zero God, he's a heavyweight. He will finish you. Look what we did Taito Ivasa. We did Derrick Lewis. I mean, if you get hit too many times by Zero God, it's gonna freaking hurt you and knock you out and finish you. I mean, I personally think I actually lean towards Zero God slightly at the moment. Now it could change by the time we get to pay-per-view week and I'm previewing it. I could see Zero. I might go with not Zero. I might go with John Jones maybe, but at the moment I'm thinking Zero God because I think John's gonna have a hard time, I think, getting a hold of him. And I think Zero Gon's the way superior striker. This is probably the best striker John Jones has fought since Alexander Gustafsson won. Because think about it, I mean, you can make, I know he fought Glover Teixeira after Gustafsson, the first Gustafsson fight, but I don't think Glover Teixeira, especially that, I don't think Glover Teixeira was as good a striker as Gustafsson was, or he's Zero Gon, definitely not. Cormier was not good, dirty boxer, but wrestler. OSP, no, definitely not Cormier again. Then he fought Gustafsson of John Jones there, the set rematch, and that wasn't the same Gustafsson. They fought D. Smith, Tyler Santos, powerful, dangerous, but not the striker that Zero Gon or even Prime Gustafsson was. And what else? Then after they fought Diamond Reyes, which not the striker that God or Gustafsson was. And although John got had a lot of problems against Reyes, who was athletic, and used some of his athleticism to his advantage in that fight, and it makes you think, man, he's going up a weight class. He might be slower, a little bit more sluggish. So he's never fought there before, potentially. How much is time away from the octagon going to affect him? This might be a time to catch. This might be an opportunity for Zero Gon to get out there and basically beat up John Jones and get the belt. But a perfect opportunity for him because you never know. John Jones is second, third heavyweight fights. Might get used to heavyweight and just be his old self potentially. I feel like if you're gonna beat John Jones in heavyweight, this might be the time to. And I just think this is a perfect opportunity for Zero Gon. So I'm leaning towards Zero Gon in this matchup, personally. But I can see John Jones get a takedown, just doing work on top of Zero Gon, just ground and pound him, going for missions, etc. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this fight. We'll move on to the co-main event of that card. As give me one moment. Sorry about that, but we'll go from the main event of that card to the co-main event of that card, which is the women's flyweight division. As Valentina Shevchenko is defending her belt against Alexis Grassos for the women's flyweight title. As Valentina looks to go for title defense number 8. Yes, number 8. Yes, number 8. And surprised Grasso's getting a title fight, considering it seems a little soon for Grassos. Like not too soon, because Grassos has been putting that work in featherweight, but I mean not featherweight. Excuse me, flyweight. I meant to say flyweight. If I said featherweight, I meant women's flyweight, not featherweight. My bad. Women's featherweight's not a thing in the UFC. But back to this fight. Yeah. I'm surprised she's getting the title fight, Grassos, because she did mention she wanted never main events, and I thought maybe they might have Grassos fight someone else in the meantime. But then the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's no one for Grassos to fight, because Milan Fior probably would have been getting the title fight had she not injured her hand. If I remember, she had a hand injury. I thought she beat Kei Chukagian back in October. So Milan Fior is unavailable. Then you have Branchfield and Santos, Talia Santos. So they're gonna fight each other. There's no one left in that division but for Grasso. So I guess I can see why the UFC decided to go for Grasso Shevchenko. And Shevchenko hadn't fought in a while, so I was wondering, like, why hasn't Shevchenko fought in a while? Considering her last fight was in June, I was thinking December. Damn, why is she got a fight? She got a fight? Like, it's so long. But she's finally returning against Leslie Grassos, and Grassos is a good striker, very good striker. This is a girl who's I've always thought was talented when I first saw her in the UFC, and and ever since going to flyweight, she's really like just, you definitely see her skill level, see how good she is. Considering she's undefeated at flyweight, she looks better. She looks very, like a woman with a lot of skill, especially to stand up. Got decent grappling, and she was always talented at strawweight, but the weight cuts I think kind of affected her. Now she's not kind of extra weight. She can finally showcase her skills and yeah, she's getting a title fight, which you can make argument she deserved already, considering she was, I think, she's 5-0 in the division. So yeah, I definitely I'm not too upset with this title fight. Now, personally, I think Shevchenko will win. It should win because Grasso has the stand up that's just as good as Valentina in terms of the striking. But when it comes to kicking and takedowns and grappling, I think Shevchenko is just a little bit better than her. Grasso's got good grappling, but I think Shevchenko's grappling is a lot better. I think you have to be someone like Talia Santos, who's strong and has a very, very elite very good grappling, especially offensively, to go out there, is willing to use it. You gotta have something like that, or someone like Aaron Blanchfield, to really give Valentina problems with grappling. And Grasso, I don't think, just has that, and I think that's gonna be our downfall. I think Valentina's gonna use her grappling to dominate her, tire her, go for ground and pound, maybe submit her. I think Grasso's will tough it out. I mean, I don't see her getting stopped early. I think if she gets stopped, probably a third, fourth, fifth round fight, have to take a lot of damage. Maybe she'll put Valentina go for a submission as Grasso tries to escape from from her position and tap around, and then we'll go, and then she'll retain her belt. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now, if Grasso can win, if she can somehow stop the takedowns, keep it standing, maybe, and somehow take away Valentina's kicks, easier said than done, but still, you never know because she got good hands. Grasso's being from Mexico, a lot of the Mexican fighters got good striking. Not all of them, but a lot of them do, which makes sense considering Mexico is such a rich boxing nation. But yeah, I think Grasso's is going to lose, but if Grasso could keep it keep it standing and maybe somehow neutralize Valentina's kick, she got a good chance of being Valentina. But I don't think the time yet for Grasso's, unfortunately. Well, she's 29, she's 30, she's right near her prime, but still, it's just I just don't think she's. You would think this is her prime, but I just don't know if she's got enough skills to go out there and beat Valentina at the moment. Which is crazy that she's 29, 30, considering she looks so young. And to be fair, she's been in UFC for a while, Grassos. I remember watching her like 2016. So yeah, she was very young. She got into UFC. So also, one thing I do want to mention is that I feel like the UFC. One of the reasons why the UFC made this fight is because think about it. Grassos is from Mexico, right? Brandon Moreno just became the flyweight champion from Mexico. You got Yair Rodriguez fighting the UFC 284 card, the co-main event for the interim featherweight title, who's from Mexico. And originally, Ariel Dania was supposed to fight Manda Nunes on this card, who's also from Mexico. Why did I bring this up? Because I think the UFC wants to go to Mexico. I think if Grassos or Yair win their fights and are champions, especially if both of them win, and you got Brandon Moreno's champ, I think UFC is going to do a pay-per-view in Mexico City. And it makes sense. You have to do it at that point with 3 Mexican champions. And they haven't done a pay-per-view since 2015 in Mexico. That was the Cain Velasquez version of Verdum card, if you remember. And Mexican MMA has just grown and has just exploded, talent level and popularity since that fight, that Cain Velasquez version of Verdum fight back in 2015. And I just think the UFC wants to capitalize on that. And I think if having 2 champions from Mexico in that card could definitely do a lot for Mexico. Mexico's a fighting nation. They love their fighting. They love their boxing. I think they're open to MMA now. As I think this is a good test for Mexico. I think not for Mexico, but this is a good opportunity for the UFC if Grassos or Yair were to win their championships fights. You could definitely see a pay-per-view with Brandon Moreno or Yair in the main event, co-main event. Probably Yair in the main event, considering if we find Volkanovski. But if Grasso to win, it's Grasso Moreno as the champions. It could definitely be Moreno main event and Grasso's co-main event. But yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do here. It's possible, but it's possible that that's what they're trying to do. I think they are going to do that. I think it will happen if Grasso were to win or Yair. So I do want to mention that. It also gives me hope that maybe Puerto Rican MMA can explode. As a Puerto Rican guy, I love to see MMA for fighters from Puerto Rico start coming up and actually doing something and actually, make a name for themselves. Gives me hope. If Mexico can become a great MMA nation, hey, maybe Puerto Rico can be as well. Although it's part of America, but you get what I mean. But we'll transition that to UFC 286. As UFC 286, the main event is the trilogy fight between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards 3 as an official, and then obviously you got your co-main event, Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev, which I'm gonna talk about briefly, not briefly, but I will talk about afterwards as I dropped my phone on accident there. Sorry for my nose, like I said. Back to what I was talking about. Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards 3. I'm excited for it. It makes sense. This was the fight to make, especially considering Khamzat Chimaev was the only other guy you can make an argument could get a title fight. But Usman deserved it more, considering he was a long-term champion. He was a minute away from winning that belt, but then got knocked out by the head kick by Leon Edwards in the 5th round with a minute to go, like I said. And so it makes sense for the trilogy fight being the rematch. And now it's going to be in London, and Leon Edwards is a home nation of England. Well, he was adopted home. He's from Jamaica originally, but he moved to England when he was like a kid. and just lived in England for most all his life since. But yeah, I'm interested to see how's Kamaru Usman's hand, because if you remember, Usman's hand was in the cast recently, and we all thought there was a chance of Usman not being able to make the fight in March because of the hand injury. But it looks like he's ready to go. But I do wonder how that hand's going to be effective. So Usman's become has relied a lot on stand up recently. Although he did use his wrestling in the second fight. But I still wonder how's that hand injury going to affect his wrestling, considering he's going to have to grapple and use his hand to grab hold of Edwards and take him down. I wonder that, like, is that going to affect him badly going into this fight? Can he grapple as much? Can he use his hand to? I think it was his right hand too, if I'm mistaken. Even his left hand still. He still needs both hands to take someone down. If one hand could be somewhat jeopardized or weaker than the other one, I wonder how his takedown's going to be. It might be weakened by that. And also, I wonder how's Usman's mental state going to be going into that third fight, considering he got knocked out badly. And not only did he get knocked out, he got knocked out in one of the most worst ways possible. Think about it. You're 1 minute away from retaining your belt, staying world champion, and you get knocked out. That's gotta mess with you mentally. I do wonder how that's gonna be. How he's gonna be going to this fight. Is that mental state, considering that of the circumstances of the second fight? That's something. I just wonder that. Like, and also, I do wonder how this fight's going to play, knowing that it's not an altitude. Because remember, the second fight was in Utah, which was an altitude, which Kamaru Usman had an advantage because he trains in Denver, Colorado, which is also an altitude. Salt Lake City in Utah was an altitude. This fight is going to be in London, which is not altitude. I don't think there's any altitude in England at all. Maybe for the UK, let me know if there's any altitude in any part of England. I don't think London has it. So I do wonder how that's going to play a factor, considering a lot of fights were affected by the altitude of that pay-per-view, where that pay-per-view where Usman lost to Edwards. Okay, hang on, give me a moment. Sorry about that, but yeah, I do wonder how the altitude is going to factor, or lack of altitude, if that's going to cause Edwards to be more active, go out there and do more. Because I know part of it was Edwards got like in a mental fog. I do wonder if maybe the altitude being worried about it caused him to get to it, or maybe it's just Usman's what he was doing. But oh, sorry, my nose. But yeah. But yeah, and also the fact that he's not gonna have that whole mental like fog or whatever that he had in that second fight, Leon Edwards. He's gonna be confident knowing that, hey, I beat this guy. I know I can beat this guy. I do wonder if that's gonna make a better Leon Edwards, which I think it will. I mean, personally, I'm just leaning towards Leon Edwards just because of the fact that it's gonna Usman's hand injury, the lack of the non-altitude, and also the fact that he's probably not gonna have that mental fog yet in the second fight before his coaches stepped him out going to the fifth round. I think this favors Leon Edwards. I think Leon's probably will win the trilogy, but we'll see. Excited for it. And speaking of 286, let's talk about the co-main event. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Great matchup for the lightweight division. I'm so happy Gaethje's finally taking a fight with Fiziev. Happy. Because for a while, that was the fight Fiziev was trying to get. That he called out Gaethje. It looked like nothing was going to happen. It looked like Gaethje was just, I don't know what he was doing. He looked he was just like trying to get another fight. Like he wanted the McGregor fight and all this and that. It's like kind of frustrating because like lightweight top guys don't want to fight each other, particularly if you're Chandler, Poirier, or Gaethje. You all just want to fight each other or other big names instead of fighting these up and coming contenders. And like it was kind of frustrating to watch. But thankfully, you have Gaethje and Fiziev fighting. You also got Oliveira and Dariush. It looks like they're gonna fight each other in May, which I'll talk more about probably in another video. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, I'm glad this fight's getting made. And personally, I think Rafael Fiziev should be the favorite. I think he's gonna win because I think he's younger, hasn't taken much damage, and he has the ability to knock you out and knock you down any moment. I mean, you saw the RDA fight. He was up in the fight, the fifth. Even though he's up 3 rounds to 1, still RDA is not a guy who gets knocked out a lot, and he still has the ability to go out there and just knock out RDA in the fifth round, and really just which surprised me because I didn't expect that. Because prior to that, the fight was it was a good fight, but it wasn't like anything too spectacular. And then he just knocks out RDA. It was like, oh, whoa, okay, Fiziev can finish you at any time. Okay, And the thing about Gaethje is that I feel like Gaethje's been hit a lot. And I know he has a legendary chin, but I feel like he's too easy to hit at times. I feel like someone like Fiziev, he can't be like that because he's just gonna knock you out and put you on your ass. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I think he's gonna hurt Gaethje probably early on in the fight, and just might affect Gaethje the way he might just fight wild, leave himself open for Fiziev to really do some damage to him. And I can see Fiziev maybe go out there and maybe finishing him in the second round, or maybe getting like a maybe just dominate him for like a 3 round decision. And I just think Gaethje's lack of defense, his wildness and the fact that he just get hit a lot of times, to me, like hurts him against someone like Fiziev, who's got a great striking. And also, I think Fiziev has a Muay Thai background. Let me look it up right now. Give me one moment. Let me see. I'm just trying to pull it up right now. I don't know why the internet's acting a little, appear a little slow. Yeah, he does have a Muay Thai background. He does. And I bring that up because Justin Gaethje is known for his leg kicks, but in Muay Thai, they teach you how to defend leg kicks, like checking them and stuff as a part of Muay Thai. I mean, most Muay Thai fighters, not all, are trained to check leg kicks. And Fiziev has the ability to basically take away Justin Gaethje's greatest weapon, which is his leg kicks, which Charles Oliveira did very well in that fight. Once Oliveira took that away, Gaethje was basically doomed. And Gaethje did hurt Oliveira, dropped it, but the fact that Gaethje could use his leg kicks to his advantage hurt him badly, considering that's probably his greatest asset, his leg kicks. And I think Fiziev will take that away, which will cause Gaethje to, which will hurt Gaethje dramatically and definitely make it harder for Gaethje to win the fight. So that's why I'm going Rafael Fiziev in this fight. And I want to go from there to another fight on this card, 286. Marvin Vettori against Roman Dolazzi. Dolazzi. I always butcher his last name. My apologies. Roman Dolazzi in the middleweight division. Big fight. Roman Dolazzi got that impressive victory over Jack Hermanson and Orlando card, which I was at. And he's a very good grappler, Roman Dolazzi, and I think his grappling is going to be a huge advantage going in against Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori is known as a striker, but he's not exactly elite striker. But he's a good striker. And I think Marvin Vettori is not exactly the greatest takedown. They're not exactly known as the greatest grappler. And to me, I feel like Roman Dolazzi is very damn good as a grappler. And someone gets problems, a lot of dudes problems. And he was getting Jack Hermanson problems, who's a good grappler in his own right. I feel like he's going to get Marvin Vettori problems with the grappling. He's going to be able to do work on Marvin Vettori. I think he's going to take him down, ground and pound him, maybe go for submission, etc. I think it's gonna be a long night for Marvin Vettori. Personally, I don't see Marvin Vettori having a great night or win this fight. I think Roman's gonna win, move himself in the top 5 as we get new fresh blood in the middleweight division. As Roman Dolazzi could definitely be, well, after this fight, one fight away from potentially fighting for the title next. And I think he's definitely someone to keep your eyes out. And I think he's gonna use his grappling advantage as Marvin Vettori. Now Marvin Vettori can some stuff his takedowns. He may have a good shot against Roman Dolazzi, but Roman's got good hands. He's not a slouch on the feet either. But at the same time, Jack Hermanson was winning the fight and stand up too. So Marvin's got a chance there, to be honest with you. But I think Roman Dolazzi is gonna win. Better grappler. Marvin knows the best not the best grappler. And I think he's gonna get picked. I think Roman. This seems like a good night for Roman to get in the top 5. That's just me. That's my prediction of that fight. Can't wait to see as we go from UFC 286 to UFC 287. As the main event of UFC 287, it's going to be the rematch for the middleweight title between Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, number 2. Makes sense. There was no one else for Alex to fight. Alex will be a long-term champion. He was winning that fight too, going to the 5th round before getting finished by Alex Pereira, and make all the sense in the world for this fight to take place in a rematch. And big fight for both guys, especially Israel, because imagine going 0-4 against someone in combat sports. I know the first 2 were kickboxing, but still, it was combat sports. And I know the first fight was somewhat controversial. You can make an argument that some people say Israel should have won that fight, But still, the fact that you're only 3 against the guy in combat sports, you've been finished twice by him, is, you don't want to go 0-4 and probably get finished by him again. So if Israel Adesanya is an important fight for his legacy wise, and Alex Mejera, you also want to go out there and stamp your legacy as being the guy who beat Israel Adesanya 4 times, and that could do a lot for your legacy considering Israel's one of the all-time great fighters. If you could do that, I mean, that elevates you to a whole other level. And for this fight, there's things that what I'm looking for is, can Israel work on his wrestling, his offensive grappling, because Israel didn't exactly take down Alex Mejera. The only time he got top of it was when he countered Alex Mejera takedown, when Alex didn't exactly shoot the best takedown. That's how he was getting on top of him and win that third round while being on top of Alex and actually like doing some work, because he reversed an Alex Mejera takedown. If you watch that fight, and he's gonna have to work on that offensive wrestling if he even has a chance of beating Alex Mejera, because he's a real kickboxer, but man, the stand up seems like Alex Mejera is just a little bit better in the striking department, especially kickboxing, considering that Alex Mejera is more fresh off doing kickboxing. He's done kickboxing more recent than Israel Adesanya, and I think he has that huge advantage going into their fights, especially in the striking department. Not often Israel Adesanya finds someone as equal in striking. It's not often, but this is one of the cases. And if you're Alex Mejera, I do wonder how's his hand going to be, considering how much better he's going to fight. Considering, if you remember, he revealed after the fight that he had an injured hand. I think his finger was all jacked up. I think it was a middle finger. If you watch the Ariel Helwani interview he did, Alex Mejera did with Ariel after the fight, like 2 weeks after the Israel fight, his hand was all fucked. It was all jacked up and stuff. And I remember watching, and it made me realize, damn, it's impressive. He had that bad hand, yet he still was able to beat Israel Adesanya. Considering he uses his hands a lot in his fights, considering he's a striker. It was really impressive to think about what Alex Mejera did to Israel in that fight with the hand. Do wonder how much the hand being healthier, how it's gonna make him fight. Probably make him fight better, obviously. Wonder if that probably gonna spill for more trouble for Israel potentially. I think Alex Mejera is gonna win a rematch. Personally, I just think that Alex is just a bad matchup for Israel. He's just Israel's kryptonite, and unless Israel improves his wrestling, which I don't see him doing that quickly, especially training in New Zealand, which is not known for a lot of great wrestling. Let's just be honest. Unless he just brings a bunch of world class wrestlers to New Zealand, I just don't see him like improving the wrestling department that quickly in 6 months and being able to go out there and just take Alex down, do work there. I think Alex is gonna win the rematch. That's just me, but we'll see. Now we'll go from there to, looks like might be potentially the co-main event of that card. I could be wrong. Wait and see, but it looks like Jorge Masvidal is returning. No, he is returning against Gilbert Burns for UFC 287. As Gilbert Burns gets his wish and fights Jorge Masvidal. If you remember, Gilbert wanted to fight in Brazil against Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal said no, but he gets the Masvidal fight this time. This time in April, not in Brazil. And the reason why I think Jorge Masvidal took this fight now is because I was on Wikipedia googling UFC 287. I saw that UFC 287 is going to be in Miami, which is Jorge Masvidal's hometown. So it makes sense for Jorge Masvidal to take this fight in Miami and fight in his hometown. And so, yeah, I can see why he took the fight against someone Gilbert Burns. And great matchup for welterweight division. This is a big fight for Jorge. Jorge has to win this fight because if he doesn't win this fight, his chances of ever being champion again are just long gone. I just don't see it. And it's not the easiest match for Jorge Masvidal. Although Jorge has a chance of winning, actually. I should say it's not the easiest matchup. It's a tough fight for him, but he can win this fight, Jorge Masvidal. Because the one thing is, Gilbert Burns has a great jiu-jitsu background, and he uses grappling against Daniel Magny. He's got a good grappling himself, and just finish him in the first round. But Jorge Masvidal, we see him against Damian Maia survive Damian Maia's grappling attacks. I mean, Damian Maia had a bunch of submissions. Jorge Masvidal did well and survived all the submission attempts. And there was a controversial split decision that people could have argued Jorge should have won in their fight back in 2017. But Gilbert Burns can strike, but he's not exactly the best striker. Jorge does have the advantage striking, and also throws a lot of straight punches, which has given Gilbert problems. Guys with straight punches of power, aka Kamaru Usman, in their fights back in 2021. Gilbert's fight with Usman, not Jorge's. But I think that could give Jorge advantage if Jorge could get out there and survive the grappling stages, throw straight punches that could rock Gilbert. He can definitely do some damage and put himself in position to win. But Gilbert has a great jiu-jitsu background and uses offensive wrestling to demonstrate his jiu-jitsu. And he's got good striking too, so he can mix it up. And that can give Jorge problems. I think Gilbert will win this fight. I think he should win because I think even though Jorge did a good job with Damian Maia, the thing with Maia is that you just worry about the jiu-jitsu. You have to worry about his striking. Where Gilbert Burns, you do have to worry about his striking, and he's a lot different. He's a little bit more different from Damian Maia in terms of the jiu-jitsu. And I think he is. And he can. Doesn't have to take your back in order to submit you. He can submit you while being on top of you. And he did use some ground and pound against Neil Magny to open up the arm triangle. So I think Gilbert Burns doesn't mind using ground and pound to open up a submission attempt at Jorge Masvidal as well. So it's potential. I can see that happening where he can submit to Jorge Masvidal by ground and pounding. Masvidal tries to escape, get a different position, and he leaves himself open. He puts an arm triangle or some submission and just force Jorge tap or puts Jorge to sleep. I can see that as well. So I think Gilbert Burns should win this fight, but I can see Jorge winning. And this is a good fight, a big fight in the welterweight division. I'm excited. Gilbert Burns makes a quick turnaround. Good for him. He took no damage. Makes sense. Gilbert definitely wants to fight for that title again and beat Jorge Masvidal 2 wins in a row. He might be one fight away from winning not from winning, but fight for the title again. He beats Neil Magny and Jorge Masvidal. All he needs is one more victory, and I can see the UFC give him another title fight, especially if he finishes Jorge and finishes his next opponent. Who that opponent may be, whether it be Kobe or Blau or some other guy in the welterweight division I'm not thinking about. I mean, I could definitely see Gilbert Burns get, if he beats Jorge, just need one more fight to fight for the belt again. But we'll wait and see what happens in UFC 287. Excited for it. These big fights, I look forward to them. This is exciting. We're getting great fights for the UFC for the springtime, for the pay-per-views. Can't wait. UFC 287 also has Adrian Yanez and Rob Font on that card. That's a good fight to have that card. Plus, we have Samuel Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling potentially on that card, which will really make that card really stacked for April. I mean, I can't wait to see what that UFC 287 card looks like. I'm excited for that. Can't wait for these pay-per-views to come. UFC doing big things this year, especially the 30th anniversary show. I mean, not show, but 30th anniversary for the UFC. They have to do it. It's a big year for them, and they're definitely doing with the pay-per-views. I do wonder about that 30th anniversary show, what they're gonna do for that card. I'm excited to see in November what that 30th anniversary show looks like. But that's gonna wrap up the video. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this video. Where you've been watching us on YouTube, Rumble, or listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. Appreciate the love and support you guys give us. Without the channel, you got this. I don't know why I misspeaking my words. I apologize for doing that. I know I do that sometimes. But while you guys, the fans, this channel ain't nothing. So we appreciate the love and support you give us. Me and Dan, my dad, everyone who does the videos on the channel. Doesn't matter what the subject is, what the support is. Appreciate the love and support, because without you guys, this channel is nothing. So thank you guys. Leave a like, leave a thumbs up, and comment what fight you look forward to the most in these fights I just mentioned, and also who you think's gonna win, why. Let me know. I'd like to see your comments. Appreciate the love, support. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.